news tonight. Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago has reported a criminal case against Ofono Opondo, Executive Director of Uganda Media Center.
I declare Ariko Haban Edmond Okoro.
NRM's Ariko wins hotly contested Soroti City East parliamentary by-election as FDC's Atan says his victory was stolen.
They are ready with us, so we need to help them to find their feet.
Somalia has applied to join the East African community, according to Rebecca Kadaga, the Minister for East African Affairs. And in sports, Rugby Cranes Sevens kick off their 6th campaign at the Commonwealth Games at Coventry Stadium. A very good evening to you and welcome to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. In our top story tonight, the Electoral Commission has announced NRM's Herbert Ariko as the winner of Soroti City East by-election. The hotly contested race attracted 3 candidates. However, his main competitor, Moses Atan, who contested with the FDC ticket, says Ariko stole his victory. Take a look.
Ariko was declared as the winner by the Sword District Registrar, Christine Ayu.
I declare Ariko Haban Edmond Okoro, who has obtained the largest number of votes, to be the candidate for Soroti City East constituency in
Ariko, according to the Electoral Commission, garnered 9,407 votes, while FDC's Atan bagged 8,871 votes. Pasco Amliat, who contested as the AUPC candidate, got 115 votes. Ariko told journalists that his first item on the agenda is to unite the people of Soroti City East.
First and foremost, my role will be to explain to the people of Soroti the falsehoods that have been peddled to them about fears of the coming in of the city, the fears and worries that the city will come with economic and social deprivation, the falsehoods about the intention of the leaders that were in parliament when we passed the cities.
However, Atan says Ariko was wrongfully declared winner because the exercise was characterized by massive vote rigging. He said security operatives who arrested dozens of his polling agents on the polling day are partly responsible for Ariko's dubious victory. Atan says he ran to court to contest the outcome. Justice Simon Byabakama, the chairman of the Electoral Commission, condemned violence in some parts of the constituency.
This should not steal the shine from the people of Soroti City East who came out to cast their votes. And we strongly believe the perpetrators of these heinous acts are not the voters themselves, but some other motley of individuals whose intent is to disrupt the process.
NRM's Secretary General Richard Todwong says the party deserved to win. Mike Mukula, the party vice president in eastern Uganda, however, says some high-ranking supporters of the party should avoid internal wrangles. He wondered why Vice President Jessica Lupo did not join the other party top officials to campaign for Ariko.
Naye wala balabali said eri katulina parliamentary groups biri bino byonna biragira ddala nti nno ayagala okuleeta okwawulawawula abantu sino kikirungi mu pate kijja tuleetera ebizibu era teesa eno yakava mu lutalo.
The The minister in charge of East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, says the East African community is ready to start the East African Central Bank that will enable all the 7 member countries to use a single currency. This was one of the resolutions that were made during a recent meeting of delegates from the East Africa Community member states. The details. A summit with delegates from East Africa Community member states that ran from July 19 to July 22nd reviewed the impact of the Common Market Protocol. After the summit, 7 heads of state also discussed several matters arising from the general meeting, and several resolutions were recommended for action. Key among the recommendations, according to Uganda Minister in charge of East African Affairs, Rebecca Kadaga, was to set up a committee to verify all documents from Somalia, which also seeks to join the East African community.
But we were directed to send a team there. So I hope that by the end of the year, the first team would have gone. Then they would return, bring a report, we discuss it. So it's going to be a process. It's not going to be immediate, it's going to be a process.
Democratic Republic of Congo is the latest member state to join the EAC. She said since South Sudan, one of the latest countries to join the community, has faced challenges to pay the $40 million subscription fees, member states resolved to reduce the country's subscription fee by half. Kadaga says they also resolved to fast-track the creation of the East African Central Bank that will be crucial in the creation of a common currency.
The Monetary Institute first, then it will convert into the central bank later. So it will depend on how quickly we can make this decision, and we hope that by November we shall have sat down and agreed on which country takes what, so that we can make a start. But we definitely want the East African Central Bank in Uganda.
Other resolutions included the creation of a standby force to guard different boundaries, but emphasis was put on the Democratic Republic of Congo, and the outgoing Kenyan President Uhuru Kenyatta will remain the facilitator. Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago has opened a criminal case at Kira Road Police Station against Ofono Opondo, the Executive Director of Uganda Media Center. Opondo allegedly assaulted Lukwago during a live talk show on a local TV station based in Kampala. The two were guests on the show on Thursday night. Lukwago says his effort to secure CCTV footage from the station is yet to bear fruit. Take a look.
But in the middle of the program, I don't know why Ofono all of a sudden became hostile. He ran berserk, he charged at me, threatening that he was going to throw me out of the studios. Then I retorted by saying, okay, fine, I know you have the capacity and you can even shoot me because you have ever shot somebody. He became so wild, pounced on me, grabbed me by the neck, attempted to throttle me, to strangle me. As I was struggling to wriggle out of his grip, he pounced on me, kicked me in the stomach, in the groin, and was boxing me. Then he grabbed my jacket, kicking me in the stomach, doing all sorts of funny things. Then Charles Mangusha, the moderator, and Winnie Chiza came to my rescue to pull him off, because he had, he had descended on me in a manner which was really despicable. The way he was battering me, assaulting me, and then the Honorable Baliomuns also joined them. That's when they overpowered him, plucked him off, pulled him off and brought him under control. So we moved out of the studios. He was not done. Actually, he was relentless in his attack against me. He was threatening that he's going to finish me off from either the corridors or outside the building. And he made some frantic calls to people I didn't know,
saying, please bring reinforcement, we have to deal with this Waizeka, we must stop him, blah, blah, blah. Having all sorts of insults against him. I was requested to sit somewhere by the management of the TV, and then arrangements were made between the DPC of Chira, Mr. Sebuyongo, who had at that moment come in, and also the OC operations together with the minister. They worked out arrangements to rescue me, and eventually I was escorted back to my home.
Dr. Kiza Besigye, the former president of Forum for Democratic Change, who is out on bail in a case of incitement of violence, has reappeared in court. However, his co-accused, Lubega Mkaku, did not show up.
Five court that it is just indisposed to showing appearance. This being the first time that he doesn't show up in court. He got an accident while coming back from Soroti.
But I'm sure, as my client colleague stated, the antecedents of the Honorable Mkaku in all matters that he has appeared before this Honorable Court, he has never missed a hearing. I'm obliged.
The state has not yet disclosed, and A2 is also not in court. The hearing cannot proceed. Instead, I have ordered the prosecution to disclose all the evidence in your possession within the next 7 days to the defense. And I've also issued criminal summons against A2, and we adjourned to the 2nd of September at 10 o'clock.
But the prosecution was not ready to proceed today, and the matter has been adjourned to the 2nd of September. Since they have no disclosures made, then they are not ready for this matter. They cannot disclose anything as of today, so they are not ready for this matter. We are ready to come back on 2nd, and I believe, because there is no cogent evidence.
This is part of what we have been saying, that these cases are not cases that are genuine in search of the rule of law. They are simply being used politically to persecute opponents. That's why even today we asked the court that this case really must be heard, we are glad that the magistrate has ordered the prosecutor to give us the evidence they have within 7 days, and has now fixed to start hearing the case 2nd of September. And the reason we are pressing is because 2 of my vehicles were seized by police. They are still at the police station. They say they cannot release them back to me because they are going to be used as exhibits in the case. One wonders how in a case there is no traffic offense or anything to do with the vehicles, how in a case of me inciting violence in the public, how vehicles can be an exhibit in such a case, you know? So
PM Edition returns shortly with more stories after the break. Welcome back to CTV PM Edition with me, Melissa Mboha, and Isaac Luchamuzi on Sign Language. Moving on. The failure of some civil servants to perform at their best has escalated poor service delivery in different parts of the country. This is according to reports by a consortium of civil society organizations in Uganda. The details. Reports from the Inspectorate of Government shows that Uganda loses over 9 trillion shillings annually due to corruption. Now, most of this money is due to public servants. The IGG's office has tried its level best to end graft. Recently, the Inspectorate of Government announced to organize a national prayer to seek God intervention in the fight.
We said to ourselves that we must take this war to the front line, where there are foot soldiers desperate to end the war because they are the victims of corruption. We need to recruit the masses to fight the war because it is their war.
Although some efforts are done to recover some of the money stolen and the property, civil society organizations spearheaded by Action Aid and Anti-Corruption Coalition Uganda say government should find other means of recovering the stolen money because it incurs more money than it recovers.
Now when it comes to recoveries, they tell you they are recovering around 20 to 30 billion. I mean, that's just a fraction. It's not even 1% of the actual money. Find that we are losing a lot of money and recovery rates, but also at institutional and individual level, we are putting in a lot to fight corruption than we are getting back from this fight against corruption. Because when you look at these different anti-corruption institutions, they are allocated hundreds of billions of shillings annually to go and do their work to fight corruption. But when you look at terms of the recoveries they are making, like I said, it is in 20, 30 billions really.
Cases of corruption and abuse of office in Uganda have been rampant, especially in the office of the Prime Minister. The activists suggest that government should recruit civil servants who are patriotic and willing to add value to their country beyond their stomachs and self-aggrandizement.
We don't only have gaps, the quality and access to public service delivery in Uganda has serious gaps that need to be looked at. Schools that do not have enough structures for children to sit in and learn comfortably, learning materials that are not accessible, health centers that are stocked out of drugs and do not have sufficient personnel.
Who audits Parliament? When was it last audited? Because if you appoint your own auditors and then your report comes and then it is received by members in the plenary. All right? So where does it go?
The commissioner in charge of lower secondary education, George Mutekanga, says government has emphasized more on skills development to reduce the unemployment in the country.
As a government, we have introduced new educational subjects. We have 8 vocational subjects that are part of the new lower secondary curriculum, and one of them is agriculture. The second one is physical education, where we have ball games, athletics, and all other netball. And as I was talking about these ones, your Member of Parliament advised that we are even given more money, actually 47 billion. So now this money is meant not only to promote the sports games and sports, but also to promote physical education.
Civil society organization officials were discussing problems that can improve accountability and public service delivery in Uganda. Story by Chris Semakula for CTV PM Edition. PM Edition returns shortly with news from the world of sports, so don't blink. Melissa Mboha. Switching to the world of sports, the revival of bicycle racing in Uganda has been boosted as the Bunyoro Kitara Inter-County Bicycle Racing Competition is launched in Hoima by the Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom. The competition starts on September 3rd at Chiriadongo Stadium.
The next in solo, Viviani is there in the blue, but he's a little bit too far back. Michael Matthews.
Bicycle racing on the continent has attracted large audiences, with the sport being popular thanks to famous events such as the Tour de France, which is the oldest and longest cycling race in the world. In Africa though, particularly in Uganda, the sport has not attracted the attention despite having some competitions here and there. Telecommunication company MTN Uganda has partnered with the Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom to develop the sport in the country. The Bunyoro Kitara Inter-County Bicycle Racing Competition was launched in Hoima, an event that also saw the launch of the official kit that will be worn by the participants. The Prime Minister of the Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom says this will be an annual event that is greatly going to contribute to identifying talent that will be considered in the pool of the national team under the Uganda Cycling Association.
This is going to be an annual event for promoting sports. So it's not related to the commemoration activities. This is a separate activity in order to promote sports and identify talent and promote talent from the king's subjects.
This will not be the first time MTN Uganda partners with the Kingdom to organize a cycling event, as they have also in the past worked with Buganda Kingdom to organize the Kengere bicycle race last year in Masaka. Andrew Tusubira, MTN Uganda's Western Region Business Manager, says MTN wants to reinforce values of a common ground and teamwork.
I would like to reaffirm that MTN is passionate about the sports, and it's for this reason that the company has chosen to roll out several sports activities across various kingdoms in the country. Kingdoms reinforce the importance of our heritage as a nation, while sports reinforce the values of a common goal, unity and teamwork.
Keith Biaruhanga, one of the cyclists that will be participating in these championships, says that aside being guaranteed of keeping his body fit, the race will help inspire fellow youth to join the sport in order to increase the numbers.
I love sport racing. It helps me keep my body fit. And one more thing I expect from this, I want to inspire young youth like me in Bunyoro here to participate in such kind of occasions, because this is where we all come up and become something like those legends you see on TVs.
The preliminary races will cover 15 counties of Bunyoro Kitara Kingdom, with the first race set to take place on the 3rd of September. Noah Walakira, CTV, PM edition.
The 2022 Commonwealth Games opened yesterday in Birmingham, UK. Rugby Crane Sevens kicked off their 6th campaign at the Commonwealth Games in Coventry Stadium with one goal at the back of their mind.